Good day to you, sir, and Happy New Year, sir. So we are the last group, the group 6. So our topic is all about the spiritual self. So spiritual self is one of the four constituents of the self, according to William James in his book, The Principle of Psychology in 1890. The spiritual self is the most intimate, inner subjective part of self. It is the most intimate version of the self because of the satisfaction an experience when thinking of one's ability to argue and discriminate, of one's moral sensibility and conscience, and of our unconquerable will by James 1890 is a purer than all other sentiments of satisfaction. So, so according to William James in his book, so the spiritual self is the most intimate. So when we say intimate, uh, it refers to the deepest and most personal aspects of an individual identity, thoughts, feelings, and experiences. So, so the spiritual self. So when we say spiritual self, it's very understandable na po. So spiritual is came from Latin words. Spiritus means breath or life forces. So let's move on to next paragraph. So the ability to use moral sensibility and conscience may be seen through the expressions of religion. It believes and practices in the same manner cultural rituals and ceremonies are some manifestation what people believe. So moreover, seeking the meaning of life as a journey that spiritual self is on. So William James also defines experience that it is the feelings, acts, and experiences of individual men so far as they apprehend themselves to stand in relation to whatever they may consider the divine. So, religion. Religion, Rebecca Stein, works on a definition of religion as a set of cultural beliefs and practices that usually includes some or all basic characteristics. So, Rebecca Stein, she is a cultural anthropologist and a media studies scholar, and she is also a professor of cultural anthropology of Duke University. So, for her, uh, it has 6 characteristics of religion. First, I believe in anthropomorphic supernatural beings such as spirit and gods. Second, a focus on sacred supernatural, where sacred refers to a feeling or severance and third, the presence of supernatural power of energy that is found on supernatural beings as well as physical being and objects. So fourth, the performance of ritual activities that involves the manipulation of sacred object to communicate to supernatural beings and or to influence or control events. Fifth, the articulation of worldwide and moral codes through narratives and other means. 6. Provide the creation and maintenance of social bonds and mechanism of social control within community. Provide explanation for our known and sense of control. So this religion, we can clearly see that it brings us more to God, in the sense that, like, we believe in supernatural beings as spirit and God. So these are the part of my topic, part of my report about the topic of the spiritual self. So I'm gonna pass on to the next reporter, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. I am Cesar Ayan Aria, the next reporter of Group 6. Ritual. Ritual is the performance of ceremonial act described by a tradition of sacred law. Ritual is a specific, observable mode of behavior exhibited by all known societies. It is thus possible to view ritual as a way of defining or describing humans. Ritual has the characteristic of a feeling of emotion of respect, of fascination, or dreading to the sacred. Depends upon a belief system that is usually expressed in the language of myth. It's symbolic in relation to its reference. Rituals to me is a practice that you do day in and day out, that increases connection, increases discipline, increases spirituality, and that only is you doing that every single day, but it's commitment, which then that commitment for me falls into everyday life after commitment to friends, commitment to work, projects, everything like that. So to me, it always starts with the morning ritual.
Some world religious belief. There are different religions with different beliefs and practices. Some of the major world religions are Buddhism, Christianism, Hinduism, Islam, and Judaism. Except some of the religious beliefs and practices are found in the University of London's Religions and Belief Guide 2017. So, what is Buddhism? Buddhism is also known as the Buddha Dharma and the Dharma Vinaya, translated to doctrines and disciplines, is an Indian religion and philosophical tradition based on teaching attributed to the Buddha. It is originated in Eastern Gangetic Plain as a Sramana movement in the 5th century BCE and gradually spread throughout much of the Asia via the Silk Road. It is the world's fourth largest religion, with over 520 million followers or Buddhists, who comprise 7% of the global population. So this is the belief of Buddhism. The basic doctrine of early Buddhism, which remain common to all Buddhism, includes the Four Noble Truths. So the four Noble Truths is, first is the truth of suffering. Second is the truth of the cause of suffering. Third is the truth of the end of the suffering. Fourth is the truth of the path that leads to the end of the suffering. So, there's a cessation of suffering, which is nirvana. So nirvana is the cessation of desire, hatred, and ignorance, and ultimately of suffering and liberty. And there is the path of concentration of suffering, the Eightfold Path. The right view, the right resolve, the right speech, the right action, the right livelihood, the right effort, the right mindfulness, the right concentration. Buddhism characteristically describes reality in terms of process and relation rather than entity or substance. Custom and practice of Buddhism. There are two types of meditation practice, samatha and vipassana. Samatha is a meditation practice are all about quieting the mind in order to achieve a state of great focus and calmness, while vipassana means seeing things as they really are. Acquiring wisdom is the studying Buddha teaching, the Dharma. Through the reflection of Dharma, the Buddhist can achieve deeper understanding of life. Buddhists believe in non-violence principle.
So, good morning everyone. I am Giancarlo Sisa. I am the next reporter under the topic of the spiritual self. So, the next topic it is all about the Christianity. So, Christianity is the faith tradition that focus or the figure of Jesus Christ. So, there is most three popular churches in Christianity. So, there is portrait of Jesus Christ, Protestant Church, and the Catholic Church. So their belief that anyone who believes in Jesus Christ will be saved and have eternal life. So this is found in the Bible, book of John, chapter 14, verse 6. And the custom and practices in Christianity, there is sacrament of baptism and sacrament of communion. So, sacrament of baptism symbolizes the birth in Christian world, and also this sacrament symbolizes that we are returned as the children of God. Baptism is directed toward our participation in the fullness of Christ's divine life. So and the second is sacrament of communion. So, sacrament is communion is an act of a remembrance of Jesus Christ in the cross of Calvary, and there is some of most some celebration in Christianity, like in December they celebrate the Christmas in the month of December in the day of 25. And the next reporter will discuss the next religion.
Good day, everyone. Good day, sir. I am Mike Sanchi Kilumano, the next reporter, and my topic is all about Hinduism. Hinduism is the world's oldest religion, and it is one of the largest religion worldwide. And Hinduism embraces many religious ideas. For this reason, it's sometimes referred to as a way of life or a family of religions, as opposed to a single organized religion. And when it comes to their beliefs, they believe that existence is a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth governed by karma. And karma is a concept where the reincarnated life will depend on how the past life has spent. They also believe that the soul passes through a cycle of successive lives in the next reincarnation, so always dependent on how previous life was lived. Custom and practices. There are two types of custom and practices, the Diwali and Navratri. These are the most celebrated festival in Hindus. Diwali is the festival of lights, while Navaratri are the festival of 9 nights, which celebrate the triumph of good over evil.
Hi, my name is Sheila Jane Bialbis and my topic is all about Islam. So in Islam, there is a mosque, a Muslim house of worship, which is a place of prostration. So let's talk about the belief of Muslim. Muslims believe in Allah, who is their one God. They believe in the unity and universality of God. Muslims also have strong sense of community or ummah, and an awareness of the solidarity with all Muslims worldwide. Islam means willing submission to God. So in Islam, there is Muhammad. Muslims believe that Muhammad is the last and final prophet sent by God. Muhammad was born in Mecca in 570 CE and received revelation from God through the angel Gabriel over a period of 23 years. The holy book of Islam is called Quran, which was taught to recited in Arabic because any translation is seen as inadequate. So, Muhammad was the prophet and founder of Islam. Muslims are required to pray 5 times a day. During a prayer, Muslims briefly kneel and touch their forehead to the ground as a sign of submission to the will of God. So let's talk about the customs and practices in Islam. Muslims believe in the 5 pillars of Islam, which are the foundation of Muslims' life. So first is Shahada. In the statement of faith, there is no God but one true God and Muhammad is his messenger. So Shahada is the Arabic term for the declaration of faith in one God, which is Allah, and his messenger Muhammad. So, it is the most sacred statement in Islam. So, second is Salat. Salat is the prayer that is practiced 5 times a day. Salat or Salah or daily prayer is the Arabic term for the ritual prayer that is obligatory for Muslims to perform 5 times a day. So, the third one is Zakat. Zakat is a monetary offering for the benefit of the poor. It comprises the 2.5 of the Muslims' assets. Zakat is the obligation that an individual has to donate a certain proportion of wealth each year to charitable causes. It is mandatory for all Muslims in most countries and is considered to be a form of worship. So next is Hajj. The yearly pilgrimage to Mecca. Muslims who can afford are asked to do the pilgrimage at least once in their lifetime. Lastly is Saum. The fasting. Muslims do fasting from food, drink, and sexual act during the celebration of Ramadan. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic lunar calendar, and the fast is from dawn to sunset. So Shan is abstain from all the things that are forbidden during fasting from the break of dawn to the sunset. So let's talk about the 2 of the major festivals in Islam. So first is Eid al-Fitr. is the celebration at the end of Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr, in which Muslims fast daily before dawn until sunset. It is commemorated by a large community-wide prayer service in the morning, followed by meals and conversation with friends and family. The second is Eid al-Adha, or known as Festival of Sacrifice. It is celebrated within the completion of pilgrimage, the Hajj. It is the most important festivals in Muslims' calendars. The festival remembered the Prophet Ibrahim's willingness to sacrifice his son when God ordered him to. And that's all my topic. Thank you.
A pleasant day, everyone. I am Genevieve Toledo Gabayan, one of the Group 6 reporter, and my task is to discuss the last part of our topic regarding the spiritual self. Religious beliefs, rituals, practices, and customs are all parts of the expression of the spiritual self. When we say religious beliefs, these are the ideas and accepted tenets of any religion. Religious beliefs are essential to a religion. They are not entirety of religion. A religion must also have practices and cultural rituals that its adherents engage in. Religion is a cultural and spiritual practice that can help people answer major questions about life, death, creation, and their place in the universe. Religion is belief in a god or gods and the activities that are connected with this belief, such as praying or worshiping in a building such as church or temple. In the Equality Act, religion or belief can mean any religion. For example, an organized religion like Christianity, Judaism, Islam or Buddhism, or a smaller religion like paganism, as long as it has a clear structure and belief system. What are some religious beliefs? So first, we have belief in God and demographic groups, the afterlife, miracles and supernatural, prayer and scripture reading, and of course, participation in prayer groups and other religious activities. Now let's proceed to ritual. It is a religious or solemn ceremony consisting of a series of actions performed according to a prescribed order. A ritual is commonly known as a precise sequence of words, gestures, and actions which follow norms in specific order. For example, religious acts, birth, marriage, funeral, formal events, rites of passage, purification acts, just to mention a few. Practices. Spirituality includes your spiritual practices or spiritual disciplines, which may include prayer, meditation, chanting, breathing, exercises, and ceremonies or rituals. Spirituality in your spiritual life also include your daily interactions with other people. Now, since our topic is about the spiritual self, how do you describe yourself as spiritual self? Your spiritual self is you in your most beautiful and powerful form. It is the authentic self. It is your original self. The unconditioned part, the you without patterns. This is personal for each of us. What to believe and how to manifest the belief is entirely dependent on the individual, to the self. A person might believe that there is higher being, a supernatural being, usually termed as God or in Muslim Allah, but not necessarily wants to be affiliated or identified with a certain religious group. Others may have religious practices which are perceived to be contrary to the practices of other groups. Religious beliefs and practices are formed relative to its context and culture. So, we have different religious beliefs, rituals, practices, and customs. Because in every country, we follow different beliefs, practices, and of course the culture.